You are listening to an exclusive interview on Bass Musician Magazine. The interview starts now. Jonathan, now you're accepting that you're a drummer and you're going to go out there and you're going to play and you got to get your first break somehow. So how did that happen?
You spend a lot of your young years developing in your hometown and playing nightclubs with fellow musicians and friends and associates there. You have several bands go by, but you still have the aspiration to be on television like your heroes. So you know if it's not there in your home city, I got to go find it. So I realized that New York and LA was the cities that most of the music scene was happening. But even more than that, a friend of mine from a local band I was with called the Money Band. We call him AJ. His name is Alfred Gilliard. And our band went to Los Angeles in 78 to try to get a record deal. We journeyed to like a 5 or 6 car caravan to Los Angeles, seek our dream. And AJ had moved out to Los Angeles after the band had broken up in New Orleans. So he made some connections, and just so happens he ran into Jermaine Jackson and had some tapes of our band from the clubs in New Orleans. And Jermaine heard the tapes and loved the band, but he said, "Who is that drummer?" So AJ told him about me, Jonathan Moffett. They call him Sugarfoot. He said, "Can you get him to come out to Los Angeles?" At the same time of that, AJ stayed in Los Angeles after our band went out there, or came out here, because I'm in Los Angeles, to try to make it. And it wound up disbanding, like this, a lot of dissension in the band, and it broke up. We wound up except for AJ, we all went back to New Orleans. And AJ calls me and said, "Jermaine heard the tape of the band, and he was interested in you. Will you come back out to Los Angeles? Because he's interested in doing something with you." He said, "Well, when can you come out?" I said, "I got to work it out. I got to get the money together to come out there." And it took like 6 months from June to December, because we're strange people in New Orleans. We have this thing with us, almost not voodoo, but sort of this mystical mindset. If we cross that border of Louisiana, we're going to disintegrate. We cannot cross that border. We got to stay in our boundaries, because that fence is wired with electricity, and we might get shot or burned up. A lot of incredible musicians lost opportunities because they have the mindset, "I can't leave New Orleans. I can't leave New Orleans." So that happened for about 6 months, from June to December. So finally in December, I was just thinking one day, deep thought, and I said, "Man, if you don't go and see what you feel is meant for you," I said, "you wind up being an old man and spent your life playing clubs and never fulfilling your dreams, and being on a porch of New Orleans, rocking in a rocking chair, wondering, man, I wonder what would have happened if I'd have taken that chance and believed in myself enough to go." And that thought shocked me and said, I don't want to be that old man that never found out his dream was there for him and he never fulfilled it. So I got in my car, and a friend of mine accompanied me because he had to visit family out there. We drove 3,000 something miles to Los Angeles, and I was staying at my friend AJ's house. In the meantime, I talked to Jermaine about 3 or 4 times, and we set days to meet. But his schedule was so busy that he couldn't get a chance to meet with me. And meantime of that, I went to the airport to pick up a mutual friend, show you how things work out. He told me how to get there, but I wasn't paying attention after I picked our friend up. And I got on the freeway to come home, and I got turned on a different freeway that I didn't know nothing about. To backtrack a bit, the Jackson's music director at the time, he's from New Orleans also. His name is James McField. They used to come and do concerts in New Orleans at the Municipal Auditorium, and he would stop at my mother's house, because his mother's house was a block literally from my mother's house. And he'd always give me tickets to the show, gave me his information, where he lived, the street number and address. He said, "Would you ever come to Los Angeles, contact me. You could do really well in New Orleans, in Los Angeles, in Hollywood." So I forgot that information in New Orleans. I just remember the street name. So I'm lost on this freeway. It's like God directed me, saying, "You've been looking in the wrong place all the time." So a guy like tapped me on the shoulder, and I look up and I see this sign says Normandy Avenue, the street I've been looking for a month and a half, but it was way in a different area of the city. So I turned the wheel real quick, about less than a quarter of a mile, almost killed us. And because I said, if I pass it up, I'll never find it again. This is a miracle story. Got to the foot of the exit, stopped at the light, and I said, "Man, this street looked like it goes forever both ways. I don't know which way to turn. I don't have the house address. I just found Normandy Avenue finally. I should turn left. Maybe I'll turn left." I said, "What you think, which way I should turn, Lawrence?" He said, "Turn right. It's as good as any. Just turn right." So I got from the left lane into the right lane, turned right, and went about 100 feet to another traffic light. Lawrence was talking to me, and he looked across me and he said, "Wait a minute." He grabbed my arm and he said, "Jonathan, there's James on a payphone." Now, of all the times of the day, of all the days of the week, James was on that phone when I didn't believe it. He said, I said, "That's not James." He said, "That is James. Look." He said, "Watch this." He said, James McField." So God put him on that payphone. just when I needed him. James turned around and said, Sugarfoot, that's you? I can't believe this. He said, come on, meet me in the middle of the block. That's my house. So I go inside. Lawrence and I, we're talking. He started telling us about all his exciting Jackson stories. And they just got back from Trinidad, playing on the beach and a concert with lots of people there. And I got a fever pitch of excitement, and it built up in me. And I said, wait a minute, James, wait a minute. If the Jacksons ever need a drummer, now I know Johnny Jackson is their cousin. He's been with them since the beginning of Jackson 5. But if they ever need a drummer, let them know that I'm in town. And he stopped me from my speech and say, oh, whoa, you can't believe this. They let Johnny go, and they're auditioning drummers right now. And he said, but one thing I got excited. I said, oh yeah, this is incredible. He said, one thing, this is the last day of auditions. Prophecy is something. Now, if I had ran into him the next day later, they would have selected somebody from the 2 weeks they've been auditioning. I would have had a chance at the job. So I happened to get paired with James on the last day of auditions, last chance. He said, I tell you what, I'll tell them this afternoon at rehearsals. I'm about to go to rehearsals, and I'll tell them, and I'll see what they say. I said, one more thing, James. And he said, what? I said, could you tell me how to get home? I'm lost. I don't know how to get home. I don't know how to get back to the valley, man. I'm lost.
That's crazy. So let me get this straight. Are you basically telling me that you went from not wanting to be a drummer to just playing a couple of gigs in some clubs and shit, and then your first gig was like the Jacksons? Let's go.
My first professional gigs was with the Jackson 5 turned the Jacksons. Yeah! It was unbelievable. I tell you, it's prophetic as dream's sake.
The chosen one.
It felt like I was meant to be there, and it felt now, this many years later, like God knows what he's doing. He had been grooming me all of those years of my growing since first started picking up sticks to be Michael's drummer, because we had such incredible chemistry. It was truly magical and mystical when we played together or we worked together and performed together. It was like I was simply to him, or had a MIDI cable running between us. The spirituality we had and how I could feel his moods and new accents that compliment him and made him look good and stuff. And it was rewarding for me that I can live up to that challenge and play the beat and not lose the groove and still spontaneously accent with him and make his dance moves look great. We were meant for each other and work together. And I think God had groomed him to be the superstar that he was all those years. You know, he started so young, 5, 6 years old, singing like a mature adult human being, but that super gift he had. And he was grooming me all along to become the drummer behind him, because Michael and I had something incredibly special, you know, that rarely happens. And that's why we had a 30-year association and working together. And he always wanted me to be with him. It's just a testimonial that miracles happen, and they can happen still in this day and age.
Thank you for checking out BassMusicianMagazine.com, the face of bass.